everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I am so excited on this Monday, you guys, that we get to start our book club on Mondays. All roads lead where? To book club. So as you're logging on, let me know what city, what state, and or what country you might be logging in from. Listen, make sure that you are sharing this with somebody. All right. Tell them, tag a friend, share this with somebody, let them know that we are live and we would love for them to join us today. All right. So you want to tag and share as you're logging on. Let me know what city, what state, and or what country you might be logging in from. We are live, and I hope that you have subscribed, because if you subscribed, then you actually got the notification that we were going live, right? That we were going live. You all know that we are reading The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. The Power of One More. And last week, we went in. Actually, last week, you guys, it was so amazing what we were able to share together last week. And we ended, let me see, where did we end? We ended on page 12-ish. Yep. And we're actually starting on page 13. We are reading. I see you, Marguerite Faison. Thank you for joining. So as you're logging on, you guys, make sure that you are tagging a friend, sharing a friend. Now, here's what I also need you to know. In the comments section, good evening, Mary Powell. Good evening, Robin. I see you guys from 5 Mile. I call it 5 Mile Flint, Michigan, you all. And so remember, tag a friend, let them know that we are here, we are live. And we're gonna see if this book, good evening, Renee Bryant, really lives up to all of the hype. So this is tonight's book club, where we're gonna do the book review on The Power of One More, the ultimate guide to happiness and success. Good evening. I see you, Jack and Vanita. So glad that you all have joined us here this evening. So you know what we do. You don't even have to have the book to join us here on Book Club. It's so good evening from South Carolina. I see you, Sally, but you don't even have to have the book. If you desire to comment, to give us a definition of the word, because we break these words down. What I want you to do is I want you to keep your eyes out on the chat. In the chat, you're going to see the link to actually get into the studio. All I ask is that you make sure you're dressed, you're in a well-lit environment or a well-lit room so that we can see you, and then you'll be able to join us here on Book Club. Have you shared this live with somebody? Make sure that you're sharing this live with somebody so that everybody knows how to find us here on YouTube. As you're logging on, again, make sure you're letting us know where you're logging in from. If you get an aha moment, make sure you're actually putting that in the chat as well. And we're so excited that all of you are here. So let's go ahead and get to reading. Again, we're reading The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. Now, in the chat, I would love for all of you that joined us last Monday evening to give us your thoughts about what we've read so far. We read the introduction. We read about adjusting our identity, the thermostat, adjusting our identity. And we're going to actually go into now the trilogy of changing our identity. So I'm going to read the last 2 paragraphs of the last chapter. And as we go forward, then I'll be moving into reading the trilogy of changing your identity. So however the difference between you as a one more person and everyone else, that you will view these as speed bumps on the road to your goals. So oftentimes, you guys, the speed bumps really are intended for us to do what? Go over that hump. We kind of slow down so that we're cautiously moving forward. But listen, Vanita, Jack, the speed bumps are never intended for us to come to a complete stop. Speed bumps aren't intended for us to come to a complete stop. Speed bumps are intended for us to continue with care, right? Continue with caution. So speed bumps on your road to your goals. You won't use temporary setbacks as an excuse to create permanent failures. We ought to write that down in the chat, right? You won't use temporary setbacks as an excuse to create permanent failures. Marguerite, this word right now seems so fitting to where many of us are right now in our lives, not allowing temporary setbacks as an excuse to create permanent failures. You'll have the grit it takes to gravitate to where your thermometer is set, and eventually you'll rise to that temperature. Remember, as a one more person, change comes from thinking and acting, right? As a one more person, change comes from thinking and acting. This book is not about doing one thing or another. You must do them in unison. Somebody type that word in the chat. We must do them in unison. When you think and act in congruency, you don't cool your thermometer back down. We don't cool our thermometer back down. Instead, your best position to turn your thermometer, to turn your thermostat up to achieve the results that you deserve. So the trilogy of changing your identity. Once you buy into the concept that changing your identity is the key to changing your life, the question then becomes, how do I readjust my thermostat to create my new identity? How do I adjust the thermostat? To create my new identity. That process is anchored in a trilogy of core principles: faith, intentions, and associations. Faith, intentions, and associations are the trilogy of the core. These are our trilogy of core principles. Good evening, Jonetta. Faith, intentions, and associations. So faith, according to Matthew 17, 20, and 21, truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. But nothing will be impossible for you. How about you type in the word, nothing is impossible to me if I have the faith as the size of a mustard seed, right? Nothing moves mountains quite like faith. The same applies to moving your thermostat so that you can move your identity to a new place too. If you're a person of faith, whether you practice Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism, or any other faith-based teachings, fundamentally, you believe that your God loves you. As part of my faith, I believe that I come from the most extraordinary DNA in the world, God's DNA. And as an extension of this, I also believe that God did not make me in his image to live with a thermostat set at 75 degrees. My God and your spiritual deity too created us to live a full faith-based life with a thermostat set at 100 degrees. Many people say they lead faith-based lives, but how many of us say they have God and faith in all parts of their lives? Several people I know read the Bible, go to church, and are kind-hearted and loving people. But do these same people extend their faith into their beliefs about personal fitness, finance, relationships, and business? Right now, I wish I had that horn that's at the games. Round, 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 right? Listen to this. I know several people I know read the Bible. They go to church and are kind-hearted and loving people. But do these same people extend their faith into their beliefs about personal fitness, finance, relationships, and business? In many cases, the answer is no. One of the keys to changing your identity is to let faith move mountains in all parts of your life. And so now that was faith. Now we're going to talk about our intentions, because the trilogy of our core principles, faith, intentions, and associations. Now we're reading about intentions. When our actions are based on good intentions, our soul has no regrets. When our actions are based on good intentions, our soul has no regrets. That's a quote by Anthony Douglas Williams. I meet many people who constantly beat themselves up for where they are in life instead of giving themselves credit for their intentions to move to a new identity. If this sounds like you, all you're doing is reinforcing your current identity, your 75-degree life. Do these moans sound familiar? I'd give myself more credit if I had gotten that promotion. My life is a complete mess since I got divorced 3 years ago. I'm a failure since I had to claim bankruptcy during the pandemic. You're not letting yourself up off the mat when you do this. It's a dead bang loser of an approach to life. You're not being fair to the person who matters most, which is you. Maybe we ought to point to ourselves and say, I matter most. Thinking this way creates a downward spiral. And the farther down you spin, the harder it is to climb out of it and create your identity. You'll accept the frustration. You won't be around, you won't want to be around people. And quite frankly, most people won't want to be around you. Oh, we probably ought to pause right there. You won't want to be around people, and quite frankly, they won't want to be around you. Instead of soaring in life, on life, flip your script. We ought to write that big. Flip your script. Instead of soaring on life, flip your script. Tell yourself you intend to do good and to serve, that you intend to create a thriving business and have money in the bank. You intend to treat people around you with care and are worthy of a loving and caring relationship. Apply good intentions to all parts of your life and then watch what happens. Watch what happens. Your intentions will set your mind to work creating your new identity. Your brain works on what it is told. I got to pause right there. Your brain works on what it is told. Somebody ought to write that. My brain will work on what it is told. So no matter what, Mary Pal, sometimes in life we just got to pivot, right? And as long as we just understand that our brain, our body follows our brain. So if we flip the script, our brain works on what it is told. When you tell your brain what you want to attract, it will design internal messages that will feed the good parts of who you are and manifest themselves in a new identity over time. Intentions are the currency that lets you make deposits in your identity bank. Intentions are the currency. Intentions are the currency that lets you make deposits in your identity bank. Instead of creating a run on that bank that will eventually drive you into bankruptcy. Come on, somebody. This is so good. Instead, so what is it? Intentions are the currency that lets you make deposits in your identity bank instead of you creating a run on that bank that will eventually drive you into bankruptcy. Now let's talk about these associations. Consider the words of T.F. Hodge. What surrounds us is what is within us. We're on page 16, Carol. What surrounds us is what it is. What surrounds us is what is within us. Somebody please write that in the chat. What surrounds us is what is within us. That's what surrounds us. So if you see a person that always got a real messy house, What surrounds us is also what is within us. Come on. What surrounds you is what's within you. Come on. You can't possibly stay at 75 degrees if you hang out with people operating at 100 degrees. Ain't no way you gonna come around me and stay, oh, woe is me, and humdrum, bookity book, 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 right? And you know I'm 100 degrees, and you fighting to stay at 75 degrees. Ain't no way. Through proximity, you absorb the traits, the actions, and the beliefs of the people that you associate with. So do you have a hard time with change? You have a hard time, you grumbling and complaining because, oh, you know, like, you know what's crazy, Robin Owens? Paul and I went to dinner the other night, and we went to dinner. The young lady said to us, I said, you know, I'm actually thinking about these Wagyu beef dumplings. She said, if you desire to order this particular dish, you need to order it right away because it sells out very quickly. She said, normally by 7 o'clock, we don't have any more. She said, it's a very popular dish here and it sells out very, very quickly. Let me tell y'all something. It was amazing. It was delicious. So I did what she said and I ordered the dish. 4 small little dumplings with this most tender Wagyu Japanese. Y'all know Japanese beef was so good, right? But Mary Pal, what if I had waited to order and then it was no longer available? Was I supposed to sit there hungry? Or was I supposed to what? Pivot and just order something different? But thankfully, I listened to the advice of the waitress who said that dish sells out very quickly. So they came back to check on us, and I told her how amazing the dish was and how I was absolutely so excited that she suggested it to us. Guess what, y'all? She said, and guess what? It's currently sold out. So through proximity, you absorb the traits, the actions, and the beliefs of the people you associate with. Now, I'm going to say something, right? So I remember Paul and I are like a lot alike, but a lot different at the same time. I am a person who and he'll tell you, he can write it in, he's going to write it in the chat, y'all. He's showing up as Bling TV. I am one of them people, like, I just adjust quickly. I'm like, ping to the towel. Okay, boom. We got to make this move. Where Paul, it takes him a little bit, an extra step, an extra minute to kind of try to think about all of the, well, what ifs? Well, what if this doesn't? And what if this doesn't? And my mind goes straight to, well, what if it does work? But now that Paul and I have been together now for 12 years, he's starting to adapt through proximity. You absorb the traits and the actions and beliefs of the people you associate with. A greater faith, a greater spontaneity, right? A greater, like, there are times that we'll say, and I'll be like, you know what? Let's go to the Mexican restaurant and get some burrito taco. Like, literally, when you are around people who live on 100 degrees, you have to adjust. Because you've got to be able to say, okay, oh, okay, that road is blocked. Oh, okay. Then that means I need to go around or go another direction. Same destination, just a detour, right? So consciously and unconsciously, their knowledge and ideas become a part of who you are. Consciously and unconsciously, their knowledge and ideas become a part of who you are. So now you want to think, Carol, right? I'm laughing. She said, I am Paul. Now you want to think, who is it that you're listening to or around? And now you hear yourself consciously or unconsciously starting to sound like them, starting to become different, starting to think a little, okay, what used to take me a little bit longer to get over, okay, let me get over it, move on, because you're around people that know how to, like, boom, but what if it does? This is why you should seek out quality associations that can either directly or indirectly help you grow to be the 100-degree person you're meant to be. The other side of this is that if you want to raise your thermostat and change your identity, you may need to say goodbye to many of the 50-degree people in your life. Not, first of all, think about it, Mary Powell. Think about it, Sham. She didn't say, or the author Ed didn't say, those 75-degree people. He went down and said, you might need to say goodbye to those 50-degree people in your life. Yes, I know that can be a hard thing to do until you clear out space in your life for the right associations. You'll be mirrored up in relationships. You'll be mirrored in relationships that have outlived their purpose, and now they are holding you back. Boom! Tedra, what relationships, ladies and gentlemen, are holding you back? There's a part of you that wants to be like a person that can just get up and move. There's a part of you, but who is it that's in your ear that's like constantly, and now that's holding you back from reaching your full potential? Because your full potential is going to take you to launch out on the deep. And the persons that are around you, the 50-degree people, they're saying, no, don't do that. Don't play it safe. Well, why would you do something different? No, stay like you are. Why can't you just stay comfortable? Sean Dunnigan, why can't you just stay comfortable? How many of you have heard that when people are like, why you can't, that's not good enough anymore? Why you can't, why you need another one? Why you got to do why you got to do this? Because you're not, that's not good enough for you anymore. Well, why would I just settle for what's good enough? Why can't I have the best? Why can't I want more? So I'm not saying that part is easy, but at times I want everybody to write this in the chat. It is necessary. It is necessary, right? It is necessary. So the other way to approach this is reject the 50-degree behavior and raise other people's thermostats instead. Let me ask that question, y'all. Why must we, Ashley V, why must we allow ourselves to allow the 50-degree people to control our thermostat? Why can't we, even if you're not at 75, maybe you're at 80, maybe you're not at 100, right? Why can't you at 80 or 85 pull up the person that's at 50? Why must you allow the person that's at 50, right, Charlene, to keep you at 50? Why? This is an especially viable approach when you're dealing with family members or lifelong friends where saying goodbye could be difficult. It is necessary. The bottom line is that you're a reflection of the people you associate with. Ow! Ow! The book says, I almost said the Bible says, Paul, you hear me over here. The Bible says, the book says, the bottom line is that you're a reflection of the people you associate with. If you associate with people who elevate you and make your thermostat rise, then you're on the right path to creating a new identity. Now, listen to this, you guys. Oftentimes, this is very difficult when it comes to spouses. It is difficult when you got a free thinker versus, and I'm not saying that this is a negative thing. I'm just describing the way two people think. You got a free thinker versus a very logical, critical thinker, right? A non-free thinker. You got free thinker, you got a non-free thinker. And it can be very difficult when you got somebody that's like, what are you worried about? Come on, let's jump. And then you got the other person that's over there like, but no, well, what if this? What if that? What if the? What if that? What if that? To the top, to the top, to the top, to the top. Right? So you've got this imbalance, and maybe because I'm gonna tell you that used to be my husband and I, but now I've learned to listen to when he does, because he doesn't have those, well, what if that da very much anymore, right? But when he does, I am learning, not always gracefully, right? But I am learning, because y'all know I'm always going to be honest, right? But I am learning now to listen a little bit, because he has learned to not always go to that place of the, well, what if it doesn't? Because I'm always thinking, but what if it does? So maybe he'll comment to help you spouses out on how he was able to overcome that thing, because I'm a 100% free thinker and he was 100% the opposite, right? And you have to now find a way to navigate life together so that you're not constantly like this, right? Because you can't leave your spouse behind, but you can leave your spouse behind. Let me tell you how. You're not leaving the marriage, but you certainly are not going to allow your spouse to hold you back from growth. Y'all get that? You continue on the pursuit of growth. You don't leave the marriage. Will that sometimes cause a little? Yeah, it might. But you don't stop growing because you got somebody who's not as much of a free thinker as you. You can find some common ground, and this person gives a little, that person gives a little. This person gives a little, that person gives a little. All right, you guys? So once you're armed with awareness of the trilogy, you can only move forward if you adjust the level of self-confidence you have to change your identity. Let me tell y'all something. I am so grateful for the inner circle, because y'all about to get a whole bunch of that self-confidence thing, okay? There you go. Oh, look at what Paul says. Paul says the way that he copes with it or handles it is that you have to put yourself in your spouse's thinking. So it's almost like how they used to say, WWJD, what would Jesus do? Paul probably like, WWND, what would Nina do in this instance, right? What would she do? How would she react? What would she desire? So self-confidence, ladies and gentlemen, is the unifying factor. We ought to write that in the chat. Is there anybody else that's married that may want to, before we go into self-confidence as a unifying factor, we're on page 17. Any other person that's married that would like to come into the studio and talk to us about how maybe they are handling, or maybe not. Anybody want to talk about how that's affecting you if you are like a free thinker? Because this just said the bottom line is that you're a reflection of people who associate who of the people you associate with. If you associate with people who elevate you and make your thermostat rise, then you're on the right path to creating your new identity. But this says the other way to approach this is to reject the 50-degree behavior and raise other people's thermostats instead. This is an especially viable approach when you're dealing with family members or lifelong friends where saying goodbye could be difficult. So here's the link right here to the studio. If you want to come into the studio to give us your comment or opinion, click that link. I'm going to see you in this back studio, and we'll bring you on. Before we come on, if you want to come, you got to come now, so that we could go ahead. And it is starred in the comments. Anybody that might be married, or maybe you're not married, maybe you're dating, or maybe you've just gone through this before. Do you have a comment to talk about how you're approaching this, not allowing a 50-degree person to pull you down to 50 degrees? Anybody before we go? I know that there's a little bit of a lag, so I'm trying to give you guys a few minutes, a few seconds to try to respond or come into the studio, because I know that there is a lag in time between me talking and the actual messages coming up. So if you desire, I'm gonna give this like 10 more seconds, and then we're moving on. Nobody going once, going twice. Nobody wants to talk with us today. Nobody. All right, nobody. 1 second, y'all. All right, self-confidence is the unifying factor. Robin said, this would have helped me years ago. Thank God for the book now, right? Maybe he's preparing you. He's preparing you. All right, so I go into greater detail in chapter 12 on habits, but self-confidence and how it relates to identity are crucial concepts worth repeating. The first thing to know is that identity is different than self-confidence. Somebody write that in the chat. Identity is different than self-confidence. Identity is what you believe you're worth, your internal thermostat. Self-confidence is the means to deliver on it. Identity is what you believe you're worth, your internal thermostat. All right? Self-confidence is the means to deliver on it. Self-confident people share one habit in common, and that is the ability to keep the promises they make to themselves. Oh, Paul, I wish I could bring you up to the studio. There's something that we talk about all the time, and you say it all the time, and you say, once my wife agrees to do something, you best believe she's going to get it done. Facts, right? Because let me tell you guys something. This just said, self-confident people share one habit in common, and that is the ability to keep the promises they make to themselves. Tedra, y'all know it. My closest friends, they know that if Nina Rochelle Coleman Moore says she gonna do something, I don't care how tired I am. I don't care how far I gotta drive. I don't care what, it doesn't even matter. If I say something's gonna get done, if I'm like this, dragging across the finish line, you best believe I'm going to get it done. Once my word goes out there, it's out there, and guess what? All we've got is our word. And so when you're in the habit of keeping promises you make with yourself, you're on the pathway to self-confidence. Self-confidence is also a form of self-trust. And if you can't trust yourself, you need to do some hard thinking about your life. It also follows that if you're timid, you won't act. If you have doubts, you'll paralyze yourself with fear. Doubts are the products of external factors in your life. They are incubators for negative thoughts. When these negative thoughts grow, they take over all your thoughts, and your mind descends into unproductive and damaging places. That's why you must guard your thoughts. Somebody say, guard my thoughts. That is why we must guard our thoughts. You can even, I'm going to tell y'all, if Paul was live with me sitting right here, he'll tell you that when I hear negativity, I immediately be like, I'm drowning it out. I'm drowning it out. I don't want to hear it. Like I'm like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do negativity. I can't hear the I can't. I can't. Oh, I don't know if I can't. No, I can't. I don't want to do it. I don't want. What did Kevin Hart say? I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want to. No. So I'm guarding my thoughts. I'm guarding my ear gates. I'm guarding my eye gates, right? Because self-confidence is a form of trust. So it also follows if you're timid. Doubts are the products of external factors in your life. They are the incubators for negative thoughts. When these negative thoughts grow, they take over all your thoughts. And your mind descends into unproductive and damaging places. Do you guys hear that? You sound like that TikTok. Yes, I don't want to. I don't like it. I don't want to. No, right? Because your mind descends into unproductive, damaging places. That's why you must guard your thoughts. Pull out the mental weeds. It's so crazy. I was just talking to somebody. I was just talking to Renee Bryant, and she said, no, I'm good. I know how to pull out she just said, I know how to pull out the mental weeds. She said, so I know how to pull out the weeds. I'm good. She just said that to me today. She said, so pull out the mental weeds that threaten to take over the good parts of your psyche. You may not get them all, and that's okay. But self-confidence is about doing away with fear or timidity. It's about moving forward anyway because of the agreement you made with yourself. The other critical thing is that self-confidence is generated from within. Somebody ought to write that down. Self-confidence is generated from within. And because it's an eternal emotion, it's an internal emotion, you can stack the deck in your favor. Why? Because no one else controls your self-confidence, because it's an internal emotion. No one can control it. You can stack the deck in your favor. So can you double down on you? Can you bet on you? You know, there's a song out right now that says, can you focus on me? Right? Baby, can you focus? So can you focus on you? Because self-confidence is something that's generated from within. Ralph Waldo Emerson put it this way: what lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies within you. You may not, Charlene, see the greatness that's within inside of you. You may not see it, Marguerite. You may not see it, Kelly Daly. You may not see it, Renee Bryant. But the reality of it is, it's there. It's an internal thing, and we got to start fighting the good fight. Fight the powers that be, and fight harder to kill that thing that is trying to suffocate the self-confidence that lies within inside of you. Let this sink in. You are the only one who gets a say in how much self-confidence you want. When you break, Kelly, internal agreements, you're only fighting with yourself. That's right, Robin Krim. Thank you for that scripture. Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard thy heart, for out of it flows the issues of life. Guard your heart, guard your mind, guard it, guard it, guard your heart, guard, and let's go. Get up from that place that you're in and let's go. There's so much more inside each and every one of you, whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching a replay, whether you're watching, listen, I am here to tell you that we are created with dominion, with authority, with power, Jason, with Mary, Ashley, with power inside of us. We're created to have dominion. If we're created, Kelly, to have dominion over the world, over the earth, we got to first have dominion over our mind and over ourselves. We got to get over ourselves. Spray your poopery and keep it moving. Because that stuff stinks. It stinks. This is when you break internal agreements. You're only fighting with yourself. Sean Dunnigan, we're not fighting with somebody else. We're not fighting with what we don't know. We don't lack anything. We may not have full knowledge of how to do a thing yet, but we don't lack anything. Everything we need is already inside of us. Everything we need. Sometimes, Carol, what it means is we just got to take a step to the right. Maybe where we are, maybe, and I don't know why God might have us in an area, Deborah, for a small season. I don't know why we might, but we gotta be okay when he says go. And you know, we sing these songs, Paul. Send me, Lord, I'll go. Send me, Lord, I'll go. I'll go. Yes, I will. Send me. Order my steps in your word. Enlarge my territory. And then when God says, let me do it, then we're like, oh, I don't want to. I don't like it. I don't like it. Well, why I gotta? Now you ask God to order your steps. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask him to order our steps. Sean, we ask him to order our steps. And then when he does, he enlarges our territory. He gives us more. So he's stretching us, which is why it doesn't feel good. He's making room for what he's trying to give us. I don't know why we were in the season we were in, but for whatever reason, he's saying, you want more? Now let me give you more. Get up, take your bed and walk. Get up. You're already healed. Take up your bed and walk. There's more for you. You know what? Which is sometimes why we can't even get comfortable in certain places. There are some places you'll go to, Kelly, and you'll take your shoes off and you'll get good and comfortable, right? But then there are other places you'll go to and you're like, no, I'm okay. I'm going to leave them on. Come on, y'all. So let that sink in when you break internal agreements. So if you break an internal agreement with yourself, you ain't fighting with nobody. You're not fighting Nina Moore. You're not fighting the system. You're not fighting the powers that be. You're fighting you. What's up, Stanisha Graham? Come on, somebody. So you're fighting you. If this sounds a bit crazy, that's because it is. Wouldn't you rather save your energy for other battles that you're fighting? Why would we fight within? So like most things in life, when keeping a promise to yourself, the first step is always the hardest. I used to sing a song, Kelly Daly, when I was growing up, and they used to sing a song in church. Well, if you make one step, he'll make two. Some of us are wondering why we don't see God making the 2 steps. Well, that is because he's saying you ain't made the 1 step. See, if it's the word if, is contingent upon what we do. God is saying, if you make 1 step, I'll make 2. But I got to make sure that you got the faith for the first step. Oh, so like most things in life, when keeping a promise to yourself, the first step is always the hardest. Kelly, it's always the hardest. Having to turn your brain off, think differently, do something else, make a move, whatever, grow. It is always the hardest because now here we are again in unfamiliar steps, right? In unfamiliar territory. And I know you're saying that the Bible says, Nichelle Evans, how can we sing when we're in a strange land? How can we face adversity, right? Well, we can, Jermaine, 1 step at a time. How do we eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. So the first step is always the hardest. I guarantee that once your train of thought pulls out of the station in your head, somebody got to say, oh my goodness, this is for me. If this is for you, let me see you in the chat say, this is for me, right? I guarantee that once your train of thought pulls out of that station in your head, you'll find the momentum that you need to act. Somebody say act. Some of y'all don't even realize right now you're preaching to yourself. Paul, can you believe this book today? If this is not like, I can't listen. You'll see results as you develop a new identity. Those results will be the fuel that keeps that train moving on down the tracks. The opposite of self-confidence, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, is self-sabotage. It's like a computer virus that lurks inside many people and is only triggered when you try to move forward with an important part of your life. Self-sabotage triggers discouragement and doubt, the mortal enemies of self-confidence. Farnham Street Media founder Shane Parrish perfectly described how these things could damage you when he said, optimism might not make you successful, but pessimism will ensure that you don't succeed. Oh my goodness. Anybody want to come into the studio with me? Stanisha, you want to come give us a word? Because this is so good, y'all. I mean, who would have thought that we would be reading this today, right? This is so good. Optimism. So let me read that again. Optimism might not make you successful, but pessimism will ensure that you don't succeed. when you self-sabotage. Y'all know if y'all want to make a comment, click that link in the comments right there, and you're going to come on into the studio. When you self-sabotage Jason, when you self-sabotage Carol, when you self-sabotage Mary, and when you self-sabotage Jonetta, when you're like, again, when you self-sabotage, you dial down your thermostat and you deny yourself the bliss that was headed into your life. How many of you guys now looking back like, doggone it, I done denied myself the bliss that was headed into my life because what I did was self-sabotage myself by having all of that pessimism. Maybe this is you. Perhaps it's somebody you know. Some people just have a knack for being given a gift and then finding a way to undermine the outcome. The worst part is that the same people seem to repeat this type of thing over and over and over again. They're labeled the hot mess or somebody who hasn't gotten their life together yet. In reality, they've just dialed their thermostat to what they believe they're worth receiving. You know how hard it is for you to say, I am worthy. You should try it. Practice it right now. I am worthy. I'm worthy of the abundance that my God or my deity. I don't want to force you to believe in what I believe in, right? We know that there are people from all over the world watching this video. Guess what? I am worthy. I'm worthy of more. I'm worthy of abundance. I'm worthy of living the lifestyle of my dreams. I am worthy of living in whatever state I want to live in. I'm worthy of living in any country that I am worthy to not live paycheck to paycheck. I am worthy to have a fit body. I am worthy. I am in control of my emotions, and I am no longer an emotional mess. I am not going to allow myself to eat myself to death. I will not live to eat. I will eat to live. I am worthy and I am loved. And I don't know why, whatever, here's the song. Here's the song, Robin. We sing this song, Deborah. We sing this song, Charlene, right? Whatever my plot thou hast taught me to say, it is well, right? It is well until it happens. And then something happens and we're like, well, wait a minute now. Now, hold up. Wait a minute. I know that I asked you, I know that I said, God, that you can have complete control of my life, but I didn't mean for you to do that. I know that I said that you could use me and make me an example. I understand, but I didn't mean for you to do that. Why I got to feel that pain? I know that I said, oh my God, like take them out of their misery, God. Oh, your will be done. And then God's will be done was perfect and complete healing. And then we like, but I ain't asked you to do that, God. I ain't asked you to do that. I ain't asked you that. I ain't asked you all that. I ain't asked you all that. So it's okay. It's okay when we can control the outcome. How often have you seen somebody you know meet the woman or the man of their dreams only to cheat on them, be gross and inappropriate or downright rude? Do you know people who have made a pile of money but then go into a self-destructive spree using drugs and alcohol, recklessly spending or gambling their wealth away? Most of us have also heard cautionary tales of pro athletes who don't train or eat well, train or eat well, or who overindulge in vices, and in some cases it cost them their lives. They're all guilty of self-sabotage because their lack of discipline. Their lack of discipline is a lack of self-confidence that does not match up and support their identity. Oh my, I ain't say it, y'all. These are not my words. These are Ed Mylett's book. These are the words on page 19. Don't hate the messenger. Hate the message, maybe. Don't hate the messenger. Don't be mad at me, y'all. Right? They lack discipline. Because their lack of discipline is a lack of self-confidence. that does not match up and support your identity. Their internal thermostat doesn't match the initial success that they've enjoyed. Eventually, that thermostat resets itself and the person crashes back down to where their thermostat says they should be. And it's only page 19. The imposter syndrome. Yes. Ashley, this is page 19. I don't know what we're going to do in the rest of this book, right? It's sad when this happens because it doesn't need to be this way. Here's an exercise I use to destroy self-sabotage, discouragement, and doubt. I pay attention when I have a self-sabotaging thought. I mentally record that thought, then I visualize and I see myself scratching it out. The first time I record the thought and strike it out. I'll still see it, so I do this repeatedly as many times as it takes until I can no longer see the thought because it is so marked over and blacked out. When I get to the point where I can't see it, the thought has been stricken from my mind no longer lives with the thought, and that thought loses its limiting power on me. We got to get to the place where those thoughts lose their limiting power on us. Limiting power. To successfully align with your one more identity. We only got 9. Where did the hour go, y'all? We only have 9 minutes left. All right. Does anybody want to come to the studio to talk? Give me a comment, something. All right, y'all gotta get in that studio now before we get done. To successfully align with your one more identity, you must keep the right promises with yourself. You must eliminate negatives and create an environment where self-confidence becomes an asset instead of one more thing that you fear. Now that you know more about how self-confidence and identity work together, it's time to look at misconceptions that can skew proper thinking. Whoo, y'all. Okay. So the next, you know what? Let me read this because I can get this and then we're done. We'll be starting chapter 2 next week, right? Misconceptions about self-confidence and identity. Recognize and reject these misconceptions and you'll fortify your quest for a new identity. I am what I possess. Lots of people link self-confidence and identity to their possessions. They make the flawed assumption that the more possessions they acquire, the higher their self-confidence will be and the more perfect their identity will be. That's not the case. It's a hollow approach to self-confidence and identity. There's absolutely nothing wrong with acquiring material things. I would be disingenuous if I told you that. What I don't do is link my possessions and material wealth with my self-confidence and my identity. Y'all ever notice there are some people who always seem like they are, they're never like spunky, right? But as soon as you give them some material stuff, like an outfit or some shoes or something like that, then they become different, as if the outfit, the shoes, the bag, the clothes, the car made or changed who they are. You are who you are without the car. I am who I am driving in a Honda or a Ford or whatever. I'm the same person driving in a Range Rover or a Rolls Royce or a Phantom. It's no different. The car doesn't make me. The clothes don't make me. Thank God my wigs make me look a little better, right? But it doesn't make who I am. The makeup doesn't make me. The coat, the nail, none of that makes me. The jewelry doesn't make me. It doesn't, and it should not identify you or define you either. So I am my accomplishment. I am my accomplishments. This is a horrible trap to fall into because all your life, to feel good about your self-confidence and your identity, you're going to have an insatiable need to keep accomplishing things. Not just an insatiable need to accomplish things, but you're going to have a continued need to have people continuing to praise you over and over and over again. Oh, you did so good. Oh, you did so good. Oh, you did so good. You know, I do these webinars at night. I do wealth building webinars, presentations, or whatever. I don't need for somebody to be like, oh, such a good. I don't need that. because I know that I've studied to show myself approved, a workman, so that when I present, I know that I'm speaking properly. I know I'm giving good energy because I know how to do that, whether I feel good or not. No matter what's going on in my life, I know how it's lights, camera, action, boom, go to work. You can still feel what you feel afterwards, but ain't no way after being up on the mountaintop, you're going to want to come back to the valley, because you literally can take yourself out of the valley and back onto the mountaintop, right? So keep it simple. You are you. You were put on this earth to do great things, but feeding your ego is an insidious trap. By all means, attempt great things, accomplish great things. Just don't get so caught up in patting yourself on the back that you lose the humility you should have. Remember, it can all be taken away from you in an instant. And if you use your accomplishments as a crutch for your self-worth, that fall will be hard. I guarantee you. Well, I am what other people say I am. Wrong. The essence of self-confidence and internalizing your search for a new identity flies in the face of this belief. Forget the ego strokes. Don't base your worth on social media hearts and likes and comments, right? Don't beg for compliments. It's cheap and it's a cheap and needy way to live your life. When you do, you're doing the opposite of improving your self-confidence and designing your new identity. Well, what I look like means everything. So many people fall into this trap of what they think beauty should be. This is especially true for women who are bombarded with television programs, blogs, podcasts, social media, and magazines, all of which place an extreme focus on external beauty. Here's the real deal. True beauty comes from within. Your beauty comes from your soul, intentions, your capacity to give, how you treat people, your beliefs, and your kind heart. It's not bad to work on your health, lose weight, dress in nice clothes, and pay attention to your grooming. The trick is to do it for you and nobody else. Remember, you are defined by the content of your character and not by the reflection in your bathroom mirror. Let me say that again. You are defined by the content of your character, not by the reflection in your bathroom mirror. So as a one more thinker, your identity is foundational to who you are. Use the trilogy and apply self-confidence to find the right temperature on your identity thermostat. When you do, you're well on your way, not only to creating your best identity, but also to leading your best life. And that is the end of chapter 1. Chapter 2, you guys, will be one more and living in your matrix. For those of you who know me well, you know that The Matrix was one of my favorite movies. So I'm very, very, very excited about that next chapter. We will begin on page 23 next Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here live on YouTube. So can I have somebody come to the studio? Can I get 2 people who want to come and kind of talk about what this book is doing for you already? Maybe you want to leave a comment for the author himself, Mr. Ed Mylett, and let him know how you feel about this book. We're literally the introduction and 1 chapter in. I mean, I don't know what to say. We're the introduction and 1 chapter in. There's the link right there in the comments. If you want to come on in the studio with me, I'll take maybe 2 people or so who may want to come in and comment. You have been posting to him, yay! And maybe comment on how you feel about this book thus far. Maybe you want to ouch-hallelujah, right? Maybe it's stepping all on your toes. Come on, Jack. Where you at, Jack? I see you. Let's add you to the stream. Everybody, we got Mr. Jack Livenell in the studio with us. Come on, Jack. Tell them how you feel.
Oh, I tell you, I've listened to this book and I've read this, and I tell you, if you don't, well, one of the things this brings back memories of is what happened in my last, my first divorce, when my father died, and my younger brother was married to my ex-wife. everyone expected me to draw down to their temperature.
Wow.
And I said, no, I forgave them and I had to move up. And I got so many comments after that because I didn't get outraged and everything where they thought I should, but I did that thing of forgiving myself first. And this is just bringing back so much more that I have to figure out and work on. And that's why I do audiobooks in between clients. Because if I don't, I'm just going to let myself right back down to the other drivers that don't do nothing, or family members that don't do nothing to boost themselves up. And I tell you, I'm wanting to do more, be more. And if they don't want to do it, okay, see you the next time around. And you have to get out of that comfort zone and get out of where they think you should be. Because otherwise you're not going to get where you want to be.
Absolutely.
And this book is just bringing out more and more and having me to think where I haven't really thought about it. You know, like, what's my identity? So that's a work in progress.
That's good. That's good. That's good. But you know, the thing is that you're willing to, you're fully aware that it's a work in progress. Well, that's the first step, that you're fully aware that it's a work in progress. But guess what? All of us are a work in progress. And you know why we're all a work in progress, Jack? Because who I was last year, which, you know, we're only in February. So I love saying last year like it was a long time ago. But who I was last year, that's not who I am right now. And so I am a work in progress now because I am now learning how to be in this new place that I'm in, because with every level of elevation becomes a new you. And so, like, figuring it all out again, right? In every phase and every level of our lives, the greatest thing is that you have not decided to stay where you are. You do realize, because you just said it, that you're in control of your thermostat. And that is the best place in life to be, because it's not even your character to be ugly like other people, like they were to you. So I applaud you, Jack, because I don't know that I could have had as much coof and grace as you did in that situation. I don't know. I might have been on a little island somewhere, maybe in an orange jumpsuit somewhere behind some bars. Because I don't know that you don't know until you're faced with something. But the fact that you didn't allow that to cause you to spiral downward, that you didn't allow that to, you know, make you act ugly. Misery loves company. That's
and before that, right after all that happened, I was in that misery loves company. You know, watching the TV shows of the divorces, the fights and everything. But now I can't even watch that.
Me either.
Going through and I saw that and I'm like, even the book that my social worker wanted me to read, the divorce something, but I can't even go into it because it's going to start that negativity or what you see. And I've gone past that. And it is something that I don't want to even go back to. And I tell you, I'm looking forward to Dallas. And it's 4 days in a wake up, as we say in the service. And Mr. Keys is going to have the other bed in my room. We are going to, this book club, I want to thank you, Nina, for everything. You just bring things alive.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming into the studio, Jack. All right, you guys. Well, Listen, it's been real today. And we're right at the top of the hour, 5 minutes after. We started at about 7 minutes after. Thank you all so much for joining. Now, listen. You know that we're here every single Monday. So make sure you're sharing this with other people to let them know that they are more than welcome to be here. Share this link with someone after it's done so that they are able to watch book club. And you always got to remember this, that no matter what you're going through in life, you got to remember that you can live again, laugh again, hope again, dream again, and bling again, right? And you most certainly can bling again. Have a bling-tastic evening, you guys. Have a bling-tastic week. Pay it forward, do a good deed, and be kind to one another. And I can't wait to see you all next week, Monday at 6 p.m. Bye now.